Welcome to Poland Daily Culture. On today's episode, we're here in central Poland in the little city of Łowicz. Behind me is the Łowicz Ethnographic Museum. We're going to be showing you around the museum and all the sites inside. So you're going to find a lot more about Polish traditional culture. So join us on another fascinating journey around Polish culture.
One of the monuments of Łowicz culture, from architectural monument and historical mementos to folk art, is the museum in Łowicz. It is located in the former seminary, designed by tillmen from Jemeren and erected at the end of the 17th century by the primate Michał Radziejowski. The museum sets out to inspire the visitors and sensitize them to the past and current traditions of the region by the means of exhibitions, cultural events, and educational activities. The history of the museum collection in Łowicz dates back to the turn of the 19th century and 20th century and is strongly connected with Władysław Tarczyński, a collector and a social worker. He made his collection available to the public in 1905 and called it the Antiquities collection. The museum developed rapidly. It owned over 3,200 exhibits and a library until the outbreak of the First World War. Władysław Tarczyński also included objects and tools from the field of ethnography in the historical artistic collection. The Ethnographic Museum of Polish Tourist Society opened in 1910 and based on the collection of an outstanding social worker, Aniela Chmielińska. The collection of the Municipal Museum and the Ethnographic Museum was originally located together in a building purchased for the museum purposes at 16 Staryrynek Street, which was opened to the public until 1939. The period of the Second World War caused subsequent losses in the museum collections. The National Museum in Warsaw took over both collections in 1948 and formed its department. Connected collections were given a new residence in a reconstructed religious building dated from 1689. Owned by the Cardinal Michał Radziejowski Foundation, the branch of the Baroque art in Poland is situated in a former primate chapel dedicated to Saint Karol Borromeusz. It is an original flank of the 17th century building, which wasn't destroyed during wartime. The interior vault is designed by tillmen from Jemeren and is decorated with illusionistic frescoes by Michelangelo Palloni, showing the life of Charles Borromeo, a patron, missionary, and bishop of Milan. It's the best example of the Italian painter's artistic work in Poland from the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries. The paintings perfectly harmonizes with the stucco decoration on the vault and walls. There are also examples of artistic craft inside, such as furniture, fabrics, glassware, goldsmith, work, porcelain, painting, and sculpture.
Okay, I'm here with Mariana and we're in another part of the Ethnographic Museum, though a little bit different from the rest of it. So Mariana, where are we right now?
Jesteśmy w jedynym skrzydle tego budynku, które ocalało.
We're in the only wing of the building which survived the Second World War. The building was first constructed as a seminar, hence this part was a chapel named after Saint Charles Borromeo.
Pod wezwaniem świętego Karola Borromeusza. W okresie II wojny światowej budynek został.
During the war, the building was bombed, but this wing survived, so that's the only part we can say is the original structure. Wonderful frescoes remained, painted by Michelangelo Palloni. Here we have the exhibition presenting the Baroque era in Poland.
Mamy tutaj właśnie wystawę prezentującą barok w Polsce.
Could you tell us, when was the seminar built?
Budynek został wybudowany w XVII wieku, początkowo właśnie jak...
The building was constructed in the 17th century, at first as a seminar, so as a school for priests. Then its purpose changed many times. There were many schools here. For example, there was a school attended by such figures as Józef Chełmoński, a famous Polish painter, or Stanisław Noakowski, a great architect. During the partitions, there was also a tar prison here. Then the building was bombed during the Second World War, and then in the 1950s it was to be renovated for the Ethnographic Museum. Now we have here the exhibitions I mentioned before, the Władysław Tarczyński one and the ethnographic one by Amelia Chmielińska.
I kolekcja etnograficzna Anieli Chmielińskiej.
So, in fact, he was very lucky to survive the bombing during the Second World War.
Sometimes it is said that it was nothing short of a miracle.
So everything else in the area was destroyed and just this survived?
Legenda mówi o tym, że Niemcy w momencie, kiedy opuszczali Łowicz,
The legend says that when the Germans were leaving Łowicz, they wanted to bomb as many buildings as possible. This building included.
ksiądz, który tutaj się właśnie opiekował tym,
Meanwhile, the priest in charge of this wing said that the frescoes were painted by Michelangelo. He intentionally omitted the fact that it wasn't the Michelangelo, but Michelangelo Palloni, and it got the Germans thinking if they should leave it untouched. Later, when the building was bombed, it was said that the wing survived because of this priest.
mówi, że dzięki temu to skrzydło ocalało.
The branch of the Baroque art in Poland is situated in a former primate chapel dedicated to Saint Karol Borromeusz. It is an original flank of the 17th century building which wasn't destroyed during wartime. The interior vault is designed by Tillman from Gameren and is decorated with illusionistic frescoes by Michelangelo Palloni, showing the life of Charles Borromeo, a patron, missionary and bishop of Milan. It's the best example of the Italian painter's artistic work in Poland from the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries. The paintings perfectly harmonize with the stucco decoration on the vault and walls. There are also other examples of artistic craft inside, such as furniture, fabrics, glassware, goldsmith work, porcelain, paintings and sculpture. The frescoes, called the most beautiful north of Alps, are example of illusionistic paintings and probably the most interesting applications in Poland. They occupy an area of approximately 360 meters square. They are divided with buttresses into 4 bays and 2 wall shields. They depict the procession of St. Charles Borromeo during the Plague of Milan, St. Charles Borromeo visiting school building site, St. Charles Borromeo hanging out arms and hugging orphans, St. Charles Borromeo giving the Holy Communion to the infected, glorification and the Assumption of St. Charles Borromeo. The individual scenes are set in painted illusionistic architecture. The order of the scenes is not accidental. It was addressed to future clergy enrolled to the seminary.